The fierce urgency of now, a declaration of moral war. My friends, my brothers and my sisters, we stand today at a crossroads, a defining moment in the long, tortuous journey of human freedom. We have come to this sacred hour not to mourn our condition, but to declare our liberation. We have labored under a shadow for far too long. We have been victims of a slow, creeping injustice, a structural rot that has compromised the very foundation of our republic. We were promised a nation of the free, but we find ourselves bound by chains, forged not of iron, but of secrecy and structural crime. The broken promise. We look around and we see a terrible hypocrisy. Roads are crumbling while fortunes are made in the shadows. We see clean water denied to our children. We feel the heavy hand of a totalitarian elitism, cloaked in the flag we cherish, echoing the dark ideologies we once fought to defeat. It is painful to acknowledge, but the truth must be spoken from the mountaintop. Our beautiful, noble experiment has been hijacked. It has been subverted by a decades-long alliance of organized crime and compromised power, a group we call the Lucky Enclave. They operate using a ruthless methodology we call the Iron Grip. This is the Luciferian bargain struck in the dark corners of our history, a betrayal that has turned the instruments of our protection into the tools of our enslavement. They have perfected the art of corruption. They have used the poisons of distraction to keep us fighting among ourselves. They have deployed the Iron Grip Playbook, tactic by tactic, to eliminate and silence, to compromise and control, to obfuscate and obstruct under the false shield of national security, and finally, to exploit and profit from human misery. We have seen the evidence, the systemic looting of our treasury, from the savings and loan crisis to the dot-com crash, from the great betrayal of 2008 to the plundering of our wealth in 2020. These were not inexplicable failures. They were the methodical execution of a playbook designed to keep us perpetually on our knees. Look around the world. The systematic destabilization, collapse, and subsequent oppression of entire populations, one after another, are all done under the lie of national security. These are, in fact, crimes against humanity perpetuated by organized criminals. The declaration of war. The assassination of our president in 1963 killed more than just the man. That is the day they declared this war. Organized crime conspired with a few corrupted politicians to overthrow our institutions and weaponize them for the profits of evil. The Lucky Enclave network, which began with Tammany Hall and Lucky Luciano, is still alive and well. It is responsible for the horrors we see today. The state of world affairs is inexplicable until you look at it through the lens of organized crime, utilizing the Iron Grip Playbook. They staged a coup d'etat, and organized crime has been expanding its network ever since, corrupting our offices and institutions, slowly but surely, enslaving us all from the shadows. By the standards of Lucky Luciano, our presidents have been some of the most successful crime bosses in history. This is why I say to you today, we must declare a World War III. Not a war of armies, bullets, or bombs, for we are committed to the highest ideals of peace and love, but a structural war, a war of truth against the lie, of transparency against the shadow, of moral courage against the paralyzing hand of fear. This is the fierce urgency of now. We can no longer afford to be silent, for their only tools are fear and silence. We offer love and the piercing light of truth. To dismantle this iron grip, we need weapons. Not weapons of destruction, but weapons of justice. Strategic, surgical tools to remove the cancer from the body politic. The 5 weapons of justice. Weapon 1. Guaranteed basic income. We must cripple the syndicate's recruiting power. The true cost of the war on drugs is not the money we spend, but the human genius we imprison and the human dignity we sacrifice. We will no longer pay a criminal industrial complex $40,000 a year to keep a person locked up. We will pay a fraction of that amount to grant that person the viable choice to live, to create, and to thrive. We replace the motive for crime with the opportunity for life. Weapon 2. Free college. We must unleash the genius of the impoverished. Let us take the intellectual fire from those who, in their desperation, might be recruited by the shadow, and channel it into the glorious creation of a new and just society. We replace the potential for corruption with the power of invention. Weapon 3. End the war on drugs. We must starve this beast overnight. By removing the vast criminal profit motive from this global poison, we cut off the lifeblood that funds this subversion of our institutions. We replace billions in cartel profits with billions in human healing. Weapon 4. The abolition of secret government. We demand 100% transparency. The overwhelming majority of what is concealed under state secrets is not the protection of our nation, it is the protection of the corrupt. We must eliminate the legal shield they use to silence the whistleblowers and evade justice. We must replace the shield of impunity with the relentless light of truth. Weapon 5. Abolition of corporate impunity. We must repeal the rulings that grant immunity to those who commit crimes. We must outlaw the corrupting tide of corporate and PAC money in our politics. The system is structurally hijacked, and the only personal criminal consequences will end this era of impunity. We replace the rule of the elite with the rule of law. These are not handouts. They are essential security tools, a pragmatic investment to reduce the need for mass incarceration and the overreach of a totalitarian state. We now hold a terrifying truth. The Lucky Enclave's entire structural hijacking, decades in the making, can be exposed and pieced together in a matter of days through the light of artificial intelligence. But listen to this warning. Our enemy, driven by the dark ideology of eugenics and superiority, is in a race. They are racing to weaponize their own version of artificial intelligence, a Gestapo Google version, to perfect the art of the lie, to silence every dissenting voice, and to enforce a final, absolute, and totalitarian control. They are going to turn the entire world into a prison, and Gaza is the blueprint. We are in a race to use our tools of exposure against their tools of enforcement. This is a dark hour, but it is the dark before the dawn. This will be our brightest day. The cost of these programs is nothing compared to the fraud we are losing. The true cost is the price of losing our republic. So let us rise up. Let us move from the valley of despair to the sunlit path of justice. We are born with everything we need to defeat this. This is a war of ideas, and the battle will be public discourse. Our weapons are written on our hearts: truth, love, and morality. We are not defined by the depth of their betrayal, but by the magnificent height of our resolve. Once we are free from these chains of the elite and viruses of the mind, we will unleash a new era of prosperity that will make everything else seem like the Dark Ages. The hour is late, the battle is joined, and the victory of a truly free humanity is within our grasp.